Hi there, Hudson. I just want to talk about your paper for a little bit before tomorrow. First things first, get rid of this introduction with your name and the title right here. We're going to make title pages tomorrow, so this isn't necessary. Second, as I start to go down through here, your introductory paragraph is what you and I already discussed, so by and large, this is fine. Then you start to get into a history of Bitcoin, what it is. This is also fine with me. I think I've already read this paragraph as well. It gives me a good sense of where your paper is going to be going. After that, we start to get into the amount of energy that it takes to actually mine Bitcoin, thus suggesting the environmental problems associated with the cryptocurrency. Fine. But you keep talking here about 13 terawatt hours as being the conservative estimate for how much energy Bitcoin requires. 13 terawatt hours over what amount of time? And here you talk about the tons of coal that are required. Again, over what amount of time? Are they using this amount of energy every year? Are they using this amount of energy every day? I understand you're placing this with it in and around the amount of energy used by the nation of Ireland, but I don't know over what time period that's taking place. Then you start to come down here due to its anonymous nature. People have been trying to hack it. You bring in the example of North Koreans. I'd like there to be more here. Oh, wait, hold on a second. Oh, you get into criminal, then you get down to the hacking. I'm sorry. Let me talk about the criminal issues here first. I'd really like there to be a couple of examples of how this is used. You can talk about the Silk Roads, which were a very famous black market that was set up some years ago, was brought down by the FBI 3-4 years ago now, but it becomes the most famous example of a criminal marketplace where Bitcoin was used to buy and sell goods. I'd really like you to dive into a particular case study with this because the paragraph you have here is thin otherwise. Coming down here now and talking about the question of hacking into Bitcoin and the example of North Koreans, again, I would like there to be more here. This time you actually have a case study talking about the North Koreans, but there's got to be more that we can say about this. What actually happened? Can you dive in and find a story about this time? What did the North Koreans ultimately end up getting anything? How did they benefit? How did the people with Bitcoin keep them out? Does the situation surrounding blockchain security, which I believe is the term for what Bitcoin uses, how did that help them to repel the attacks by the North Koreans? That could be something really interesting for you to look into. But then we jump back down here into this question of dedicated power. This says to me that your paper is out of order. You started with the environmental issues and questions of power. Then we went through crime and hacking, and now we're coming back around to questions of power. So you need to move this paragraph up where all of your conversation about power is so that everything is in order. Because then when we come back down here to regulations, this is a fourth concern. Yeah, and then as we get down here to the end. So Hudson, I like what you've done. There's a lot of good work here. We need to reorganize this paper a little bit, and we need to find some case studies and some more quotes that you can lean on to really help bring out what you're trying to say. Ultimately, I'd like your conclusion to be more analytical as well, explaining how, given these 4 areas that you've looked at, the Bitcoin cryptocurrency is not going to work. Can you maybe offer up some alternatives? Are there other currencies that could work? Talk with how this is different from the US dollar, which is currently the international currency of choice. Yeah, any of that sort of stuff would be wonderful. Please think about what I've had to say and get some questions lined up. Tomorrow when I come into class, then you'll be able to ask me whatever it is you have questions about. Talk to you then.